Hey, listeners. My name is Elisha, the founder of the Witnesses podcast. It's so beautiful to have you listening to our podcast. And I want you to know something that means a whole lot to me. Thank you for tuning in. And one thing I love to tell all of our listeners is it's not just about you listening, but listening to understand. Understanding is the most important thing. So important. So, you have to listen, learn, and practice. Thank you so very much and happy listening.
Hi, Dr. Cindy. It's so nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Elijah. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm doing fine as well. Okay, oftentimes I love to talk about the essence of this show, which is to invite amazing guests. Amazing guests like Dr. Cindy to come talk to us about their triumphant stories. Yeah, because we believe that in our audience, there might be some people who are stuck up in a situation that Dr. Cindy came out of triumphantly. So by those people getting to listen to you speak, they might actually pick an information from you that might lead to their transformation. So it's all about transforming lives, transformation. All right, Dr. Cindy. Mm, 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 mm. Within the next few minutes, let us get started with your story, the challenges that you faced, and how you overcame them. And afterwards, I've got some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Dr. Cindy, over to you.
Okay. I feel like I could go a number of places in this interview. So I'm going to choose the one that I personally think will help your audience the most. And it is overcoming childhood sexual abuse that I endured, unfortunately, at the ages of 14 and 15. And it was interesting because I didn't even remember it or think of it as abuse until I was in my 40s and 50s and not being able to get my business off of the ground. And I realized I was blocking myself from success, Elijah, because I didn't think I was worthy of success. Because back then, when I was really young, I didn't think I was worthy of protection from my parents and worthy of love by men. Okay. And so, what I kind of came to realize as I kept going through in life, that I just kept trying to overachieve and overaccomplish and get all these degrees. And then I did a triathlon and then I wrote a book and all these things to try to make me feel worthy of protection, worthy of love. And then I realized that what I was really wanting was forgiveness for what had happened to me when I was a child. And once I gave myself that forgiveness, and I realized like the freedom that you have and the power of your own body and to love yourself exactly how you are and for everything that happened apart from your control. That's when I decided to turn my life around and start helping other people find that freedom too. So it's just a beautiful journey, full circle.
Wow, I love that. I really do. Okay, so shall we get started with the questions now? Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, so this
Yes.
particular one, I'm so much interested in getting an answer from you. So he says, sorry, how can one tap into unshakable confidence? I don't know if you got that. Do you?
Okay.
Yeah, so how can one tap into unshakable confidence?
In my opinion, the first way to do that is to kind of get back in alignment with who you are in your mind and your body and your spirit. And so many of us, Elijah, we have our subconscious brain is kind of holding us back because of childhood kind of patterning and programming, whether it's religious programming, societal programming, parental programming, educational programming. Everybody kind of tries to keep us small and keep us quiet. And when you realize that a lot of the filtering systems in your brain that are holding you back from getting that confidence is from stuff that happened in your childhood, and you know that there's a way to get rid of all of that patterning and programming, then the world opens up, like a flower, and the sky is not even the limit. So I believe it's through deep, dedicated meditations to kind of try to tap into what you were like before all of your subconscious mind got clogged with a bunch of programming from other people that were not you.
Mm, that was a deep one, I tell you. I got that. Okay, the second one. All right, so this says, what led you to a career in medicine? Would you like to talk about that?
Yes, that's a little bit of a sad story, but when I was um, 21,
Yeah.
I think it was, I was kind of determined I was going to get a PhD in genetics. I wanted to cure cancer. That's kind of like where my brain was when I was 21. I'd gotten a bachelor's degree in genetics, and I was going to get a PhD in genetics and try to figure out what it is that makes these cancerous genes turn on and go crazy in our body. But then my sister, she had just given birth to her second child. And unfortunately, he passed away when he was 8 weeks old. And she just woke up. He was a perfectly healthy baby. She just woke up one day, and he had slept all through the night. He hadn't woken up at all through the night. And so it, it was very sad, probably the saddest part of my entire life, losing my nephew. And his pediatrician, that little baby's pediatrician, arranged for my whole entire family to get childhood infant CPR classes, so that when my sister had another baby, if this happened to another baby, we would all be equipped to bring the baby back to life. And my little 21-year-old brain said, I want to be a champion for other people's lives like that and really help them through the hardest parts of their life. And that's when I completely changed paths, and I said, I want to become a doctor now and help others.
That is beautiful. Okay, let us talk about generational patterns a bit. So, how can one break generational generational patterns and live an intentional life of passion?
Mm. Did I give you these questions? These are really good questions. This is deep. Okay.
Yeah.
So there are patterns wounding encoded in our DNA, Elijah, and it's passed down. If you think of it as you are made from your mom's egg and your dad's sperm. And so that DNA that you're made from, your whole entire body is made from, was at one point in your mom's body and in your dad's body. And it was imprinted with all of their childhood wounds and all their generational trauma. And then the same thing happens for your mom and dad. They were part of their mom and dad's body. They were inside those moms and dads' bodies for, a long time before they came out into this beautiful thing called earth and us as a spirit, into this physical manifestation of that DNA. And so the only way to break all those childhood traumas and wounds and generational patterns is through going somehow tapping into this wisdom of our ancestors. And all of that DNA is inside you. Generations and generations and generations of your lineage are inside you, and you can tap into them with the power of God and their power of meditation, and kind of going into this, I call it the hue of light between this world and the next, where all of God's wisdom and infinite understanding resides, and you can access it through a meditative state and completely. I've literally come face to face with someone. Of course, I don't know who he was, but he was 7 generations back in my dad's lineage, and his baby had just died in the field. That my dad comes from a big line of tobacco farmers in Virginia, and I came face to face with him, and I was able to hug him and tell him things were going to be okay, and that I was now providing food and medical care for his lineage right here in the year 2024. And that's how you do it. Childhood trauma release and resourcing your inner children. It can literally change your DNA in the flash of like a snap of a finger. And that your body will be forever changed when you go into and do that deep meditative work.
Beautiful. That was a great answer. I love that. Okay, second to last one. All right, so let us talk about your book for a moment. So, what inspired you to write your book? I mean, why did you decide to write it?
Okay, I feel like I want to go and get the book and show the copy of it right
Uh,
here, but I
Go
can I
ahead.
can I do that?
Yeah, sure,
Okay, it's
sure,
right
sure.
here. Hold on. It's right here. Okay. So,
All right.
it's called
Whoa, beautiful
From
cover. I
Fear.
love it.
Thank you.
Yay.
It's awesome, isn't it? Look, it's all black and red and white. I love this book. So it's called From Fear and Failure to the Finish Line: Unleash Your Potential and Discover the Champion Within. And this book is all about, so I was a wife, a mother, and a doctor, and I had this dream to figure out how to complete an Ironman triathlon. And that's a 17-hour endurance event. For anybody who doesn't know, it's 2.4 miles of swimming, and then 120 miles of biking, and then a 26.2-mile marathon. Okay, so it's 2 hours of swimming, 8 hours of biking, and 6 hours of running at my pace. Do it all in one day. And it's about my journey to that triathlon and crossing the finish line, where because when I started training for it, I broke my thumb. I got disqualified from one of my races because my time was all off, and it was just about how I refused to let failure define me. And I repeated my training and healed my thumb and did everything I needed to do to successfully cross the finish line. And the secret of it is dividing it into really small pieces and getting help from others. That's the message of the whole book. Breaking anything you want to do in life, you can do it if you break it into small enough pieces and you find someone to help you.
Oh, that's such a powerful book. I tell you. You know, hey, listeners, you need to get that book. I tell you. Nah, 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 nah. It's got a beautiful cover, and I'm so sure that the content is going to be life-changing. Oh, man. From,
Yes, thank
from,
you. It's
remind
on
me
Amazon.
the title. Okay, it is on Amazon. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, from
Yeah. From
fear
fear and failure to the
to
finish
the
line.
finish line. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Amazing. I love
Just
that.
put it Cindy
Okay.
Stark. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, so Dr. Cindy, it has been a beautiful moment with you on the show. All right, so in conclusion, all right, let's say there is one piece of advice you'd like to give to the audience. What would that be? And let's say there are some ones listening who would love to learn more about you, get your book, reach out to you. Hey, I feel like getting to know Dr. Cindy better. How can that be possible?
Absolutely. Thank you. So, one piece of advice, and I give this to my kids and my patients. I still practice full-time medicine, even though I help people. I'm mostly helping people uncover generational wounds and tap into their greatness through subconscious mind opening. But the biggest piece of advice that I could give people is to never give up on yourself and never stop dreaming, because if God has put something in your heart, then he's going to show you how to make it come to fruition. So that's my biggest piece of advice. And how people can get in touch with me, I offer people a free 15-minute phone call with me. I call it a spark call, and they can just go to drcindystark.com/let's talk. And I would love to connect with your listeners. And thank you so much for this honor of being on your show.
Thank you for coming too. Okay, Dr. Cindy, that's gonna be the end of the show. Thank you for coming. Thank you for honoring the invite. It means a whole lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to this incredible episode. Your support means the world to us, and we truly value you. We look forward to having you join us for the next episode. If you enjoyed what you heard, please consider rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. Your feedback is greatly appreciated.